So today we're going to continue on this, but instead of adding, we're going to subtract. Now you must remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. That addition is subtraction. It's just adding the opposite. You're adding the opposite. Just like multiplication is division, it's just multiplying by the reciprocal, okay? So they're actually the same. In fact, you can get even crazier, is that multiplication is addition. Why? Because it's just adding a whole bunch of times. So all of math is addition. All of math is addition, because these are the four basic things. All of math is just adding. That's it. We just find out more complicated ways to add. So here is the next problem, example C. What is the difference of 6x squared plus 3x minus 2 and 3x squared plus 5x minus 8? We're going to write our answer in standard form. Okay, remember what we did before. I'm going to take my first polynomial and I'm going to write it. So 6x squared plus the 3x and then minus the 2. Like so. And I'm going to stack underneath it the next polynomial. So 3x squared goes underneath. And then the plus 5x. And then lastly, the minus 8. Now notice, because it says that we are to be doing the difference, what I'm going to do here is I have to take the opposite of all of these terms. I'm oppositifying them, not a real word. So I take the opposite there, take the opposite there, take the opposite there. If you're using the same color, it might be hard for you to see those changes. So somehow on your notes, make note that you're taking the opposite there, because subtraction is adding the opposite. So now that we've taken the opposite all across the board, all we have to do is add downward. So 6x squared plus a negative 3x squared is 3x squared. Next, 3x minus 5x is negative 2x. And lastly, negative 2 plus 8 is the same as saying 8 minus 2, which is a plus 6. This is in standard form because the x squared, my quadratic, my linear, and my constant in that order. If we wanted to do the horizontal method, we are going to do the same thing. And the same thing, of course, here is we're grouping things together. So I take the 6x, but notice, actually, I'm going to write the whole thing out just so that you can see what's happening, although you don't have to always write it in this way. I'm going to put a minus there just to show you that stuff's happening. Plus 5x minus 8. Now, because the negative is outside, we have to distribute it only to the right. Only to the right. So, in distributing to the right, this becomes positive. The 3x squared becomes negative. The 5x becomes negative. And I forgot my last term there. The 8 becomes positive. Now I can group things together. So I'm going to group together the 6x squared minus the 3x squared. Putting a plus in between. Now, in green, the 3x minus the 5x. And lastly, the negative 2 plus the 8. Now, this is a lot of extra work that I'm writing down for you, and you do not have to do all this. If once you've done this up here, and you either have color coordinated, or you're choosing to do things like, oh, I'm going to underline my like terms, double underlining like terms, and circle my like terms, that you can just do in your head. Now we can jump from this step right here down to the answer just by saying 6x squared minus 3x, skipping this part entirely. I encourage you, in this case, to actually skip steps like that. So 3x squared minus 2x and plus 6. Notice that no matter which way we do this, our answers match up. Now your turn. Attack, kill, destroy. The try it A, B. Go. And then just check your work on that one. Example D. An engineer is reviewing the layout of a solar farm. The solar farm shown has 4 small panels, 33 medium panels, and 32 large panels. What is the total area of the farm's solar panels? So what they've done here is just given us what the area of the large panels represented here is 32x squared plus 384x. The small is 4x squared plus 24x. And then lastly, the medium is 33x squared plus 272x. So there's a couple different ways to approach this, but we could actually just start stacking as we see. Here's one panel, a second panel, and a third panel that we can just stack on top of each other. So, because it does say what is the total, and total implies that we are adding things together. We're adding things together. So, let's start with the first one. 32x squared plus 384x. The next one I'm going to stack underneath. 4x squared plus 24x. And lastly, the 33x squared plus 272x. All of these are being added together, so I draw my line and add together there. And in doing so, I get my final results to be this 69x squared and then plus 680x right there. So all we did was combine our like terms. Now it's your turn. Here it says, write what expression models the difference between the total area of the large and the area of the small. So you're finding the gap between the large and the small areas there. So go ahead and take a moment to do that. Good, so as explained to us, we take the two. Remember that this is the large one, this is the small one, and we're going to subtract. So since we subtract, we have to oppositify down below here. And now when we do combine things, this down here is a 28x squared, and this one here is a 360x, and I can't forget my plus in between. And that's it, the difference in size of the areas.